Yes.
So I'm Vikram. So I'm working as an artificial intelligence engineer in one of the automobile-based company. I have around 8 years of experience. So right now I'm working on natural NLP and computer vision-based projects. So that is all. When it comes to artificial intelligence or data science, Python language plays a major role. So right now I'm using Python language for all my day-to-day activities in all my projects. So let us give a couple of minutes for others to join as well if we are waiting for somebody. Else we can get started. So is my screen visible? I have opened a Google Colab browser. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So at what time we can get started? If you are waiting for more participants. So we'll get started. So I am going to cover a few topics on Python such as strings, how to assign string, how to create a variable, how to write multi-line strings, and how to play with strings around. And apart from that, I will also be talking about list, creating a list, adding, deleting the elements to the list, and a few items related to loops as well. I know loops is already covered, but for working with loops, I may have to use some for loop or something. So we'll also see that in this session. So can we get started?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I hope you all had a good lunch. So we'll start the session. So I don't have much fancy use cases, but I'm going to talk more about the format and the syntax of all the operations that I'm doing. So the first topic is strings in Python. So as I have written here, strings are arrays of bytes representing Unicode characters. So in other language, if you see, there will be two primitive data types one for string and one for character. But in Python, we don't have a separate data type for string or character. So both strings and characters are represented as one single primitive data type. And one more easy thing in Python is that you don't have to separately declare the data type of a variable. So in other language, if you see for if you have to instantiate or declare a variable for integer, then you have to give like int s or int a, something like that. For instance, if you have to declare, sorry, sorry, I heard some sound. Any questions?
No,
So
Vikram,
yeah, so
please continue.
as I was saying, we have to declare a variable for character. You have to give char space variable name, something like that. But in Python, you don't have to do that. So we consider both strings, characters, both are one and the same here. So if it is an array of character, then it is a string, or if it is one single character, then it is regarded as a character. So I'll run few of the cells here and show the output, and then I'll start describing it. Yeah. So if you see, I have declared a variable called a string. So this can be anything. So I have just simply given the name string. So by using assignment operator, I have written a array of characters here. So we are Data Info Academy. So this array of characters forms the string variable called a string. So W, E, all these things are regarded as a character, and when it together comes in one single double quotes, it is called as a string. So if you print what is the type of string, it is saying us that it is a string. So even if we do like this, I'm I'm creating another variable, and I'm just assigning only one character in that, and now I'm printing. So in Google Collaborate, you don't have to separately give a print statement. If something is placed in the end of the statement, end of the cell, then it will be automatically printed. So this is same as giving a print statement in the end. So in some of my cells, I would have used print. In some of my cells, I would have not used print. So please, students can please consider both are one and the same. It is going to give us the output. If you use print statement specifically explicitly, then wherever you have given print statement, it will print. But if you simply give command alone in this cell, whichever statement is executed at the last will show the output. So here I am primer, not this is not as part of the topic. So if you see this type of str is not printed. Only this is printed because this is the output for the final statement in this particular cell. So throughout my sessions, I would have used just the command or directly explicitly used the print statement. So please understand this. Yeah. So as I was saying, for Python executor, both this is also a string type and this is also a string type. So just the difference is this is array of characters. This is one single character. So Python is not going to differentiate between string and a character. So this variable can be of any name. This variable can be S also. So the output is going to be same. So that is a string. Yeah. So yeah, I have already done this here. Yeah. So it is given, it is printing as the output as str. So which means the given input is a string. So I'm just again printing this. So it is string. Okay. So next we will see how to use single quotes and double quotes interchangeably while declaring any variable and creating any string. So if you see here, we have a statement called as this is data academy session. So in the first example, I have used single quotes. So this can be replaced using double quotes as well. See, I have printed. I'll include two print statements here. Yeah. So if you see, so both the string declared with double quotes and the string declared with single quotes, both are giving the type as str only, string. So Python is not going to differentiate between the single quotes and double quotes. Whereas if you take some scripting languages like structured query language, SQL, so there it matters. If you use double quotes, it is some different. If you use single quotes, it has some different meaning. So in Python, we don't have a separate meaning for single quotes or double quotes. There are some few special cases. We'll be discussing it in the next cells. So if you see, this is also printed as a string only, and this if you print yes here, the next line is here. So this is also a string and this is also a string. So when you use this yes or the string variable in your code, this is not going to make much difference. So the execution will not be altered at all. The output will be same if you use any operation based on these two variables. So yeah, but the change comes here. So I'll run this cell. You will notice what is the issue here. See, we have got an error. So let us go through what is the error. So it says there is an error here. So it says invalid syntax. So what is the invalidity here? So if you see, I have given a string. This is a data info academies session. So I have used single quotes to enclose this entire string, which means array of character. But we have another string, another single quotes within the string. So now the Python interpreter will not understand that this single quotes is something that has come inside this bigger, broader single quotes. So for using this, if you alter this single quotes with double quotes as given here, and if you still use the single quotes, it will not throw any error, so it will give us the output. So this is data info academy session. So if you have to have any single quotes within your variable value, then you have to definitely use double quotes, or you can also use sorry for the disturbance. If you use this, so for using single quotes within the string or within the sentence that you are going to print, you have to definitely use double quotes. Else, it will not accept. It will think it is an error. So because Python interpreter will not know that this single quotes is present within this pair of single quotes. So that is the issue. So alternatively, you can also use something called as escape sequence. So I have few cells related to escape sequence. Let us run and see what is the output here. Yeah. So see, I have used a escape character here. So the slash, backward slash is the escape character here. So if you have to definitely use, if you want to stick with only, sorry for the disturbance. I don't will not have any further disturbance. Yeah. So if you have to definitely stick with single quotes, because that becomes your using single quotes becomes your fashion to whenever you are reading a Python script, then you don't have to shift to double quotes here, as I was explaining here. So instead, you can still use single quotes itself like this, but you can introduce a escape character here. So this escape will tell the Python interpreter that here this string has to be escaped from the interpretation. You should not throw any error. So instead, just print this character whatever given here as it is the output. So, but if you use the same escape character anywhere else, like see here, I'll put it in the next. I'm introducing another escape character here. So let's see what is the output of this particular sequence. See, so here we have used single quotes. So even when we have used the escape sequence character here before the single quotes, it escaped this both of this character and just printed single quotes here. But whereas if I have used simply this escape character, so this is just a backslash now for Python interpreter. So it has printed the backslash here in the output, but it has not printed the backslash here in the output, because since it is followed by a single quotes. Now Python interpreter understands that this is an escape sequence character, so we should not raise any exception or raise any error. Instead, print whatever it is followed after this escape sequence character backslash. So that is the difference. So let me write some description on this. Uh, I'll add a comment so that it will be useful for you when you print. Takeaway here is we cannot use within a string variable created with So if you have to use single quotes, then you have to go for using double quotes or use a escape sequence. So the output slash before the quote percent so yeah, and the explanation for this cell is if you within the string backslash in the string but not before the backslash will be considered as part of the string and will be printed in the output. I believe I'm clear so far. So let me reiterate through whatever we have seen till now. So the first cell denotes how to create a variable and assign a string to it. So there is no special syntax for that. Just simply write the variable name and using the assignment operator, assign it to a string value. So that is that. And in Python, both string and character are one and the same. There is no differentiation. And we can declare a string, define a string based on single quotes and double quotes techniques. So if you use single quotes or double quotes, both are one and the same for Python. But if you have to use a single quotes on a string that is created with single quotes itself, then you have to use a back escape sequence, or else you have to go for double quotes. So yeah, so that is the thing. So I'll add a description for this cell as well. So we have used double quotes to create this string, and we also have a single quotes present in between the string or the sentence. So there is no problem created. So the output is directly printed. Yeah. So we'll run this cell as well and see what is the output. See. So in this particular string, so I wanted to highlight the organizer data info within within the string, and also I want to have apostrophe s, which means the single quotes in the string or sentence itself. So to do this, I have used three single quotes. I have enclosed this sentence within three single quotes. The output I see double quotes as well as the single quotes here. It is not going to create a problem. Oh, I believe this is understandable. So when you have to have when you have to highlight something in the output with the double quotes, apart from that, when you have to have apostrophe s, sorry, when you have to have some apostrophe s in the output, then you have to go for three double quotes. Sorry, three single quotes. Explanation goes here to have single quotes ls double this chain, enclose it with three. So we'll see what happens when we enclose kind of input with uh, double quotes only. So I'm running this cell. See, it is not understanding what is the, it is not understanding the single quotes, I mean double quotes here, because the string is created with single quote, I mean double quotes only. It is not created with three single quotes. So interpreter is not able to understand what is the meaning of this double quotes and what is the end of this. It will consider that this is the end of the double quotes. But however, we have some so for that, either you have to use three double quotes, or we'll see if escape sequence helps us here. So I have not executed this before, so I am executing it along with you guys only. So we'll see, we'll run this and see what is the output. It is working. Yeah. So see, so previously I was not able to have a double quotes when in a string that is created with double quotes. Now when I added this escape character backslash, it is accepting, it is not showing any error. And this apostrophe yes is also accepted, because as we saw already, when you have apostrophe s or single quotes with on the string that is created within double quotes, then it will not throw any error. So we don't have to explicitly give any backslash here, but the string is created with double quotes only. So to print double quotes within the string, we have to do escape. So as we are seeing, we have two double quotes here. One is here and one is here. So before both of these double quotes, we have to append this backslash so that it will not throw any error. So whereas if we remove this backslash and if I execute this cell, see it is throwing some error. So it will not accept, because the interpreter considers that this is the value of the string. So it do not consider the remaining portion, but however it sees there is some extra inputs or some command present. So this academy or session is not some inbuilt command within the Python interpreter. So it considered that this is some syntax issue or some spelling mistake. So in order to say the interpreter that this is not the end of the string, so this is something present within the string. So we are adding another backslash. So wherever you see double quotes within the double quotes created string, you have to add backslash every time before that, so that you will get the output. There will not be any error. Yeah, so I'll add the explanation. The explanation goes here. So else it will throw an error, it will not execute. Okay, so with this I have completed what is called a string in Python, and how to assign a string to a variable, how to create a string variable or a character variable. Though there is no differentiation in Python between string and character, I have explained, I have demonstrated how to create a string or a character in Python, and now we are going to see how to create a multi-line string. So far we have created the string variable with only one line, or this can be regarded as a sentence if it is one line. So what if we have to print a multi-line or a complete paragraph as an output in Python? So we are going to see that. Yeah. So for that we have to use three double quotes. So let me explain. So if there is two usability for three double quotes. I mean, sorry, three single quotes. So if you want to have a multi-line command, then if you are using a single line command, this is a single line command. But if you want to use a multi-line command, then we have to use three single quotes. One hash represents a single line comments and three double quotes represent multi-line comments. Similarly, instead of using three double quotes, if you use three single quotes, it gives the way for multi-level, multi-line strings. So whatever examples we have seen before, it can be considered as creating string with one single line. So whatever we are going currently seeing is creating string with multiple line. So see, I have enclosed this three this sentence or a paragraph within three single quotes. So it is nicely printing me the output. Hi, we are teaching from Data Info Academy. So these kind of techniques will be useful when you are creating a log file. So usually in the project that is actually present in the production, right? So there we won't be having any need for printing any output or something. So we give some input and the output will be present, will be created, or output can be a file or completing some operation based on the code, whatever it is. But we will not have any output as such by using print statement. Print statements will be used to debug the code. If we have any, let's say we have created 10, 20 or 50 lines of code, but it is not the code, if you run the code, it is not doing the intended operation, or whatever the reason we have created the code, it is not working fine, but it is not giving error also. So that time we'll be using print statement then and there in the code, in 50 lines of code, and see what is the output executed by the Python interpreter. So at that time only we'll be using print statement. So for productionizing any code, print statements are not used. Instead, we'll have a separate file called as log file. So there is a separate library in Python called as logging. So logging library will create a file called as log.txt file. So in that text file, we'll be pushing all this output that we essentially give using print statement. So if you execute a Python script of 50 lines end to end, any print statements in between. Instead, wherever we want to see the logs or output then and there in the 50 lines, we'll be pushing it to a file called as log file that is achieved using a library called as logging. So that will be done using the command called as import logging. But these print statements are used only when we have to debug something in the code that we have written. So that is why we are using printing. That's why we are doing print of our strings. So if you see here, as I was explaining, if you use single quotes or double quotes, it will be used to print something in one single line. If you use three single quotes, it will be used to print some entire sentence. So that is just for formatting purpose. Even if you print it in one single line, it will not going to give us any impact. But this is just for easy readability of the output. So let's see what happens when we insert multiple blank lines in this output. See, so whatever present here is present in the output as well, which means whatever we give within three single quotes, it will be printed. It will not be inspected anything. Nothing will be inspected by Python interpreter. So it will print as such. So yeah. So I'll give an explanation here.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, when we do not write print before this, for example, string or statement, it shows whatever is it in that variable, but it is enclosed within single quotes. So, what is the difference between writing print sentence and simply writing sentence?
Yeah, so let me tell. So this without writing print statement is just for seeing the output. We are not going to use it anywhere. Whereas if you see this state sentence, it is actually present without the double quotes. But if you use this sentence variable to process some operation based on this input string, then it will be considered as a string only. It is not going to pass the information whether it is created with single quotes or double quotes to the operation that we are doing using this variable. But whereas if you simply do state sentence here, it is not, this output is not going to be used. So I'll go, yeah, yeah. See, this str output is not going to be used anywhere. It is just for display purpose. So for that reason, this Google Colab research is following this format. Or if you use Jupyter notebooks, they will also use the same convention to print the output, which is not printed using print statement. So this is just for standard convention that Jupyter notebook or Colab notebook is following. It is not going to have any impact on us on coding.
Thank you.
So I was at yeah, to write a mail. Yeah. So this is the next cell. So similarly, how we have used we can also use three double quotes to do the same operation. Double quotes. I believe there is no explanation required for this cell, as we already saw what is the impact using three double quotes. Sorry, three single quotes. Similarly, here also whatever value we have given within this three triple quotes, three double quotes, it is as such printed in the output. So that is the purpose of using single quotes or double quotes for three times. Yeah. And there is another technique, another technique to do the same thing without using this three single quotes or three double quotes. So that is this escape backslash. So in Python, right, if you are continuing something to the next line, then you have to say the Python interpreter that something is going to be continued. There is something similar to PTO. Please turn over. We write in the end of any paper, if you want to tell the reader that there is something following in the next page, then we will write PTO, right? So similarly, if you use a backslash in the end of the line, it says Python interpreter that there is something present in the next line as well as part of this first line itself. So now in this case, let's say Python has completed execution of this particular first sentence or first line. Then, if it has executed this first line alone, then it will expect for the closure. Closure double quotes, but we have not given it here. But if you execute this line, it will not throw error, because it we have told the Python interpreter that there is something to be followed in the next line as well, similar to PTO. So the Python interpreter has come to this second line, and it is printing this, and it is saying again, it is seeing there is some another backslash, so it is going to the next line, and it is printing this, and it is going to next line because of this backslash, and finally it is finding the closing double quotes here. So let's see what happens if we remove this double quotes. See, the error is thrown here only. The error is not thrown here, though the double quotes was not present. The error is not thrown here, though we did not have any double quotes here. The error is not thrown here also, though we do not have any double quotes, because we have said to the Python interpreter that there is something to be followed after this backslash in the next line. Essentially, essentially in the next line only. So that's why it did not throw in any error in these portions after from or after table or after 100. So it has thrown error here only because it did not find the closing double quotes. So we'll include this double quotes and run again. I'll close. Okay. So it did not, but the difference you have to see. If you see that there is a next line here after this, next line here, next line here, and the next line, new line feed here, and finally it has closed. But here, instead of using triple single quotes or three double quotes, if you do the same operation with just backslash alone, then the Python thinks as we were discussing it, the Python treats all of these things as a single line only. So if we had, if let's imagine we have to type some, we want to achieve something in one single line, but it will not be readable. It will not be in readable format if you do that in one single line. Say, I'll create a chunk statement here. My name is so and so, and I have graduated from so and so. And similarly, let's say if I'm going to type a big line and I'm ending it here. So this, so even if I print this, it is not going to create any issue. But in future, let's say in actual production based project, so we'll not have this kind of junk text, but instead it will have some meaningful thing present inside this two double quotes. So if we take this example itself, see I have not, this is not a junk text for demo purpose. Instead, I have written a SQL query here. So it says select star from table where salary equal to 100 and department equal to 1. So if someone wants to update this code, this query into 200 and department equal to 2, then if I had written the same statement in this linear fashion, the user might have, the person who is going to update the same code might feel difficulty to identify where is this salary equal to 200 portion and department equal to 2 portion. So in this case, it is easy. So it is just a small query. Imagine if we have to write a query that is of size 10 lines or 20 lines. If we write 20 lines of code in one single line in linear fashion, as I have written here, it will be difficult for someone who has to update the same query with a different value. So imagine if they have to do the same, make some changes on the 10th line, but we have written everything in one single line, it will be difficult for them to scroll and go to reach that point in 10th line and then make the updates. So instead of that, we are doing like this so that for anybody who is going to see the same SQL query in the future, will find it easy to read this. First they'll find easy to understand this SQL query first. And if they have to make some changes in the same SQL query, it will be also going to be easy for them because they have understood the SQL query and they know which line has which column name and value. So that is the reason we are using the backslash here. Uh, yeah. So, but this backslash will not be considered as multi-line string in this case. It will be treated as one single line only. But for creation purpose, we are using backslash and creating it in multiple lines. So even if we have 10 lines after this, if you use backslash, it is not going to be a problem to write this one and understand this. Instead, it will be easy for anybody to create or go through this in future. But we have to know that the output is actually in one single line only. It is not in multi lines as these examples, two examples. But it is for the ease of creation and ease of updating. So that is the sole purpose of having backslash here. So this backslash not only applies to strings, but even if you, let's say if you are writing a big command, so I'll command something like uh, let's say you are appending something, string equal to hi, and I am doing a plus operation here, or number 5 plus 6, and I'm trying. I'll so I put 7 plus 8. So 7 plus 8. So consider this 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 is some operation done by Python. So in this case, it did not do any operation. It simply treats everything as a string. But in this case, consider these things as some operation done by Python, adding 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. Similarly, if you want to do some operation in one single go, but you don't want to run every operation in the same line itself for reading purpose or understandable purpose, then you end this line with a backslash. Sorry, and continue the next operation in the next line itself. So this is essentially doing one operation in one single line, but return in multiple lines. So for that reason also we can use this backslash. So this operation is done return in multiple lines, but this is actually one single line operation. The Python interpreter will not execute this first line separately and this second line separately. It is actually going to execute this two lines separate as a single operation, but for reading purpose and writing purpose, we have splitted this operation and then return the remaining operation in the next line. So for this purpose also we can use a backslash, so that all this operation will be included in one single instant. Instead, it is just returned in multi-lines for, as I said, reading purpose and writing purpose. Yeah. So after this, I have some MCQs to 2 to 3 questions for us to answer. So it by the students, or it will be answered in the end of the session or after the session. What is the procedure, sir? I'll paste it in the chat. So can someone advise if it is these things are answered and evaluated right now or after this?
Vikram sir, I think chat is not working. I think. What do you want? You want to share quiz? No? Quiz. You want to conduct quiz? No?
Yeah, I want to share MCQ links.
Yeah, you send it to me in the WhatsApp. I will share in the group.
Okay, sure, sir. Okay, fine. Okay, so these MCQs contains few questions, so you guys can answer, so that I will see all the responses later and I will tell the sir if there is any misunderstanding in my in the concept. Yeah. So we'll be moving to string indexing. That is the topic 21 that is given to me. So let me quickly check the time remaining. So the session is between 2 to 4. So we are already at 2:43 and string indexing. Okay. So already I have taken extra time. So I'll quickly cover this topic. Yeah, what is indexing? Indexing means it is, if you guys have used SQL query, you would have encountered a statement called as substring, command called as substring. Substring is going, if you give a big string and if you want some portion of some portion as an output, then you will be using substring. So similarly, indexing. So indexing is if you give a big string and if you want some portion of the big string as an output, then you will be using indexing. So indexing is not only for string but also for other Python data types, data objects or data structures like list or dictionaries or tuple, something like that. So we'll see an example for Python strings alone. So that is the topic that we are interested to cover today. So we'll see indexing for string alone now. So I'll execute this one. So you see that I have a string that is called as hi. This is a line. So I'll just simply execute this next line. See, so whenever you are doing some indexing operation on a given input variable, the basic concept is to use this square braces. So I'll leave a comment here when or subscripting an on string or list or other Python data class structure. Goes within this is the square brackets. Yeah. So here I am doing some operation on the string variable st using the square brackets. So see, if you guys see, I have not used anything within the square brackets. Instead, I have used this semicolon, which means I am selecting all part of this string st. I am not doing anything. So that's why this whole string hi this is a line is printed as hi this is a line. I have not done anything. So I will try executing this line as well. See what has happened. So this is not some other language. This is English only, but it is printed from reverse. If you see hi this, this is a line line. So what I've done is, so by giving minus symbol, it denotes that we are coming from the reverse direction. If you use a positive integer, it comes from the forward direction. If you use a minus symbol, it comes from the reverse direction. So here what I'm saying Python is, I am coming from the last portion, which means the last part is E in this given string. So I am coming from E, so that's why it is started. It has started with E, and I'm saying Python that go one character by one character and print the output, which means the starting is -1, which means the last character of the string. And since I have not told anything in this, I have not mentioned any other number, by default it goes one character by one character and it has printed. So it starting from E, it has printed one character by one character here. So I'll execute another line. Let's see if it is working. I'm recalling it from my memory. So okay. So see here. So it has started from 2, which means it has considered only two characters here, and it has printed it from reverse because I have given -1. So let me and again explain all of these things. It will not be clear for you guys right now. Um, okay. I'll cover this concept in the end. It will confuse you guys. Okay. So this is using the reverse way. So first now I'll cover the forward way. So this will be easy for us to understand. Yeah. See, this is my input. Hi, this is a line, and here I have given 4 after this colon, which means I am telling the Python that print up to 4 characters, not the 4th character, but up to the character before the 4th character. So here if you see h is 1, h is 0, I is 1, and the space is 2, and this and t is 4. So in Python, for all the array or indexing for all these kinds of operation, the index starts from 0. So that is the basic criteria. In other languages, in many other languages, it starts from 0 only. In some of the languages, it starts from 1 as well. But for Python, the beginning index is 0 only. So if we run this command, we tell the Python interpreter that print from 0 till the portion that till the index that is mentioned here, mentioned in this. I am saying the Python interpreter start from 0 and print until you see the 4th character, but do not print the 4th character. If you want to print the 4th character, then simply increment it by one value and then just print it. So if you see, it has printed the 4th character as well. 0, 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4. H is 4th. So I'll explain it here. I have a cell here after this. for this given line in 0th index, in first index we have I, in second index we have space. Third we have T, in fourth we have H. It as follows. So if by doing this we say that start from 0, print until 4, which means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is printed. But fifth one will not be printed. This is the agreed for, syntax for using string indexing in Python. So if you want to print fifth character as well, then go write 6 here. Just a second. Yeah. And execute this line. It will be printed until the fifth character, but not the sixth character. The fifth character is, as we saw, fifth character is, so it is printing hi space thi. So this is the agreed format of Python. So it starts from, as I will reiterate this, it starts from 0 and it goes until the length of the string. So consider this as a first operation. If you do this, if you do not specify anything before semicolon, then it treats default. By default it treats as 0. So 0 to 6, which means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is alone printed. Yeah. So see this here. If I have specified that it should start from 1 and it should end before 5. Let's say what is the output here. See, it did not print H because it is not going to get started from 0. Here I did not mention anything, so it is 0. It is 0. But here I have mentioned 1, so it is starting from 1 and printed before 5. So I space TH. So that is the output here. So I'll move these things down. Move this two up. Okay, so this is the basic syntax. So you can memorize these things along with me. So to index, I am again reiterating this indexing concept is not just for string, it is for string, list and other data structures as well, applicable data structures as well. So to index a string, the syntax is variable of use of square braces start position to end position. So the starting position is 1 and in bracket its index starts from 0. So the starting position is 0. So if whatever number you specify in start and end, here it will be considered for the output. So for this one, the start is 1 and the end is 5. And in this example, indexing, do not specify by default 0. So and here, here we have not specified anything, but we have specified from reverse. So it is printing from reverse. Here we have specified that it has to be starting from 2, but it has to be reverse printed. So that is what here it is done. And other example what I can think of right now is yeah, this one. This is not covered. Of colon. Welcome. 0, 1, 2, 3 colon. Yeah. See, this here we did not specify, as I said, whatever is present before colon is start and after colon is end. Here if you see, I have not printed the end. Here I have not printed the start. So from 0 it has printed till 6th position. Here you do not specify anything after colon. It is by default till the end of the string. So it is going to be printed till the end of the string. So if our input is only up to this, it will be printed only up to this. So since our input is till the line, our input is this is a line, hi, this is a line. So it has started from third position and printed till the end. We don't have to specify anything. Whereas in this example, we have stopped this at fifth position, but started this as first position. But here we have not stopped it. So it is going to get printed until the end of the string, end of the given input. So the third position is here. So third position is T, which means this. So hi space this. So the starting this, it has printed till the end. This is a line. So these things will be useful. Let's say we have a, I'll give an example. Name. We'll have a variable called as name. Ramesh Kannan. So say I have the last name alone as an output. So I will do this name of and I'll calculate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I will not want space as an in my output. So I'll give someone here and I'll print. See in output we have got Kannan. So if the character length is defined in any of our use cases, then we can go by this strategy. We'll simply calculate what is the start position of Kannan. Sorry, the last name, and we don't have to specify. It cannot be Kannan Kumar. So we don't have to bother about the end position because we don't have to speak. We have not specified the end, but instead we have just calculated the start position. So let's consider this example, Mr. Kannan Kumar. So here, if you have to have the Kannan space Kumar, so if you have to just have the name of the person, then we'll know that Mr. will be of common size only, common length only. So we calculate 0, 1 and 2 for space, and we are printing from third. Yeah. So in all the given input, this code will neglect the first three position. It will print from the third position only, third index only till the end of the string. So this can be whatever it takes. X. So these are the types or the use cases where we will be using indexing for strings in actual. Yeah. So I give a comment for these things as well. Yeah. Yeah. So in if you take any data structure, there are two things. One is mutable data structure and another one is non-mutable data structure. So mutable means we can update the values once the variable is declared and assigned a value. If it is a mutable data type, it can be updated. If it is not mutable, then it has to be completely erased and then only we can update it. So I'll demonstrate this using these two codes. Let's see what is the output for this line. So the string is still the same thing, same input. Hi, this is a line, is the output in the string in the variable st, and I'm executing this code. Let's see what is the output. So give me a moment until this is completed. The execute. Yeah, it is completed. made some mistake. Stop this. So what basically this code has done is, since strings are mutable, what I've done is, instead of I'm just selecting the first two characters and then I'm updating it to HY. Yeah. Let's see if it is mutable or not mutable. Yeah, so it is not mutable. So what I've tried is, instead of hi, I'm trying to mute it to hy. I'm just taking the 0 1 0 and 1 character alone. 0, the characters at the index 0 and 1. Instead of hi, I'm trying to update it to hy, but it is not allowing me to do so. Sorry, I have made a typo here. The strings are immutable. So we are not able to mute or alter the value of this string. We can do index string, whatever operations we want, but we cannot alter the value of the strings itself. So it will be forever, it will be high. This is a line only. If you have to make some updations, then you have to do like this. So hi, this is a line is entirely replaced with this string, replace this string. But you cannot replace some part of this string operation. So that is called as mutability or immutability. If you want to alter the some portion, then you have to completely erase it and assign it a new value. So that is how it is possible. Strings are immutable. Yeah. So I'll see how much time I'm left with. Topic 22 I should have covered. I should have. So still I'm late. 20 minutes late. Okay. So I'll quickly cover these three things. There are two things that is called as f string and format. I'll first cover what is f string. Yeah. So see, I have created a variable called as date here, and I want this to be printed in my output. So I'm prefixing this string with f. So this f has some meaning. So this is called as f string in Python. So if I am prefixing some string with this f, then I say that I have some variables present within this string. So if you see the date value is assigned, the date variable is assigned with value 20. So in my output, this 20 is, the date is replaced by 20 value. For that, so I am telling the Python interpreter that there are some variables present in this given string by prefixing this with f, and I am telling the interpreter that this is that variable that I was talking about by enclosing this within this curly braces. Right? So I'll give another example. If we simply do this without this f string, we can see what is happening. I'm removing this f string. I'm still having the date equal to 20. See, so whatever I have given here is printed as such. It did not understand that this date is a variable and it has to be replaced with 20 in the output. Instead, it has printed the date along with the curly braces as such in the output. So for us to tell the interpreter that there is some variable to be replaced, we have to prefix it with string called as f string. So that is the usage. So if you have to say where this will be useful is, I'll go to this. Yeah. So I'll go to this one, and let's say I have parameterized, or I have created a variable and assigned these values separately in a variable. Now I just want to replace using variables itself is, I mean, sorry. So now I want to use the variables itself instead of giving the values directly. Then I will prefix this with f string and replace these direct hard-coded values into the variables. So that I don't have to go to the query or this portion of code and change these values. let's say I have in my actual code, I would have created these in the top of this cell, and if I just simply make updations here and run this entire script, it will be replaced automatically in this cell. Instead, if this is not used, then we would have to come to this all the way to this end and then update this one manually. So in these kind of cases, this F string will be useful. Again, we'll go to the place where, yeah. So the variables early places within the string, so that it it will be replaced during. In this case, since F is not prepended, it is not done. It has not done any replacement during the execution.
So to save time, you need not put those hash comments. You are explaining, we are understanding. If this is going to be shared, you can put it later also, in case it helps you save time.
Yeah. This, I think this will be saved. So I mean, it will be shared with you all. So it will be useful for us, for you guys to refer. I'll make my description short. If it's not used, so replacement. So instead of using F string, you can also use format string. So I'll explain what is this. So you just have to leave a empty braces, curly braces, and whatever you are supplying here will be replaced during the execution. So this is the second technique. So I am maintaining some order in the second one. So here, if you simply leave these braces empty, then it will be replaced in the order as it is mentioned here. See, the first is data, and the second one is info, and third is academy, and the final one is 20. This 20 I have hard coded. Everything is hard coded only. So if you have some variable, you can give the variables also. Date equal to 20, and I'm supplying the variable directly. Date. If you guys see, these things are strings because it has been enclosed with by single quotes or double quotes, but this is a variable because it has not enclosed. So this is common in all programming language. If anything that is enclosed in quotes, it is a variable. I mean the direct hard coded value string. Anything that is not enclosed and it is present direct, it is a variable. So if we run this, I believe it should be replay. Oh my god. Yeah, so this date is also replaced with this value 20, and it is finally ended with th 20th. So similarly, if you want to alter the order supplied here, then you can use the index position starting from 0. It is a 0th position, 1, 2 and 3. So if you, let's say, see, instead of using 0, 1, 2, 3, I have just used 0, 2, 1 and 1. So 0 is our data, and 2 is academy, and 1 is info. So this will not give any some meaningful sentence. See, data, academy, info on infoth. So this 20 is not used because it is at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4th position, but I have not used 4th here, and similarly I have altered the order. So that's why it has the sentence is jumbled. Yeah. So I have mentioned the description here. Format. Replacement alternative B. Interesting. Okay. So, and there is another usage for format strings. So let's see here. So see, in format, I have mentioned the semester. I have supplied these values: semester, max, and a number here, and another number here. So this 0 will be replaced by semester, and this 1 will be replaced by max, and this will be replaced by this value only. But however, I have given another information to Python interpreter that it has to follow this. While replacing, it has to be replaced in this format, which means I'm saying that it has to be of 2 decimal number only. Though I have supplied a bigger decimal number, I'm saying Python interpreter that while replacing the value given in second position 0, 1, 2 in this format, so that's why it has cut short the remaining decimal, and then it has given only the 2 decimal after in this number. So that is what is the usage of format over F string. You cannot do the same thing in F string. You can do these things only in format strings. So similarly, I am replacing this 0 with binary here and replacing this 1 with 100, but applying this format B, which means it is converted to binary format. So these things cannot be done using format. You can also, also alter the format value supplied will execute. So I'm already 30 minutes delay. I'll cover these topics very fast. So the next one is string splitting. So this is similar to what we discussed already. Indexing will also help us to splitting the strings. But apart from that, we have a separate built-in method called split. So we'll see the execution. I'll pass the execution. So see, so this is my input string, data info academy, and I'm iterating it using a for loop. So we were discussing, right? String is nothing but a collection of character or array of character. So this string is nothing but collection of all these things. So if we iterate through the string variable, which means we are iterating through these characters only. So I am printing for variable, this some dummy variable for variable in string, the variable that is already created, I am printing the value. So this can be anything. I am just replacing it with I. So it is printing. So this is how we split the strings into character. If you want to do some manipulation, then we can do some manipulation. If let's say what I'll do this with if am I audible? Is there any issue with the internet, guys?
It's fine, sir.
No issue. Vikram, no issue. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay. Okay. I am replacing it y, but we this will be some error in its output. Data I'm doing this example. So expected output is whenever it sees I, it will be replaced with y. Y is not. So Python interpreter thought that it is a variable, but we did not create y, so that's why it has given some y. See, this is replaced and this is also replaced, and the main concept in this topic is split. So by using split, we can directly split a string using based on some demarcation. So here in this output, sorry, in this input, we have space here. So if you want to split the string by using space, then we can go for the split method. Let's print the output itself. Yeah, see, our input is lagging. See, it has splitted this one string into two. Is sorry guys, I have some internet problem. I got disconnected from the call. I'm sharing again. Yeah. So from this one single output, it has created a list with two elements. This is a split based on the space given. So let's say if it is a name, then if it is a name like this, Ramesh. In most of the forms, our names will be like in the format of first name, comma last name. Ramesh Kannan. I have to give comma here. So I am telling the method interpreter that this is a string. String is a variable, and I interpret that. So so it will again going to create a variable of which is of type list two elements. So if you print type of character list. So see, this is a list. So I believe this is already covered in the previous classes. Okay, sorry. So sorry, I'm going to cover the list. Yeah. So list is similar to array in Python. So if you use split method, by default the output will be of list. So I'll add another name. See, in the output again the list is going to get created, but now this time it has created with three elements. Because identified two commas here, so the interpreter has splitted this two times. Whenever it sees a comma, it splits and append it to the list. So this is the output. So this is the usage of using split. So this is the actual real-time usage. If you have first name, comma, last name, and if you want to split it, then you split it using comma operator. Okay. And this is some other example. See, I have this is my Kamala Hassan is my input. I have split it based on comma. So this is the output. And now since this is a list I was talking, right, indexing can be applied list. So I'm first Kamala Hassan. So this is the output. So this is also one of the usage. I'll cover it real quick. So the similar operation that we apply on arithmetic or integer numbers. Value of string 1 to string this of set
I'm not able to hear. Is it a problem with my computer only?
No, no, no.
No,
Actually,
even
there is
I
a
am.
problem.
Everybody
Trainer.
is facing the issue.
Really sorry, guys. My internet is creating a lot of trouble today. Okay. See, so the single equal to is to assign, and this double equal to is to check if some given statement is true or not. Since ST1 and ST2 is true, the output of the statement is true. Uh, yeah. And similarly, this plus operator has a different meaning when it is used with integers, and it has a different meaning when it is used with string. So I'll execute this statement and see. See, this ST1 has a value hello, and I'm appending this using a plus operator with this string. So hello, and after the string will add any new value. So it will not even add the space. So it is just going to append two given sentence or concatenate two given string. So ST1 that contains hello space and how are you. This is what I am appending. So the final output is hello space how are you. So similarly, if I had done ST1 is ST2, both contains hello because I have assigned ST1 to ST2. Yeah, what is this ST? I'm sorry, ST2. Yeah, hello, hello, without even any space. So to introduce space here, I am again hard coding the space here using double quotes and again plus. Here I am concatenating ST1 with a space, again concatenating this with ST2. So now if you see this is hello space hello. Or if I put hello hi here and it will be hello hi hello. Hello hi hello hello space hi space hello. So this is the usage of plus and again this into symbol has a different meaning with strings. So let me demonstrate it. So if something is multiplied with a string, then it means it is going to be printed or it is going to be created for that much time. So high is printed for 10 times because I've used a multiplying operation here. And this indexing operation we have already covered. So I am saying to print up to second character. And in this statement I am asking the interpreter to print from the second position. Yeah, and this is one another example to iterate through given list of strings. So this is a string. It contains my name is Sridhar and the next element is I am Sridhar and the next element is I am Santosh. So I'm checking if this given string is present in this string or not. So let me explain from first. So I am trying to explain this keyword in this example. So this is the keyword that we are interested. So I am iterating through this sentence. This is a list, and when we iterate through each element of this list. So in first iteration, the value that I have is inside this for loop. I'm having a condition that if this value Sridhar, this hard coded value, is present in this string or not. So this is nothing but this first iteration will have this value. So we see that Sridhar is present here, which means the if condition has passed. I have printed yes, and in next iteration in yes we have this value I am Sridhar. So this Sridhar is present in I am Sridhar. So it will be passed. So it is again printed. It has printed I am Sridhar. In the next iteration, third iteration, I am Santosh in yes. But we see Sridhar is not present anywhere in this third iteration. I am Santosh. So it is not going to get inside. If I print given else condition and print not present, it will be printed now. My name is Sridhar, I am Sridhar, not present. No, not present. Yeah. Usage of in for strings. It is used to check whether a given input is present in the input or not. So that is the usage, and apart from that, I've covered in. And similarly, we can also use not in instead of in. It is just a reverse or the opposite representation of in. If you use not in, either is not present in this iteration or not. If it is not present, then it will be printed. If it is present, it will not be, it will execute this portion. So in and not in is understandable. And the last one is that the escape character backslash that we have already covered. To escape the single quotes present within the single quotes enclosement, we have to escape it using a backslash. So I summarize, these are all the string operators. Equal to is used to assign, plus is used to append, into is used to multiply the given string to that many number at a time, and as for curly braces is used to slicing or indexing. Both are same. Slicing and indexing both are same. And this equal to operator or not equal to operator is going to return as a Boolean output, and in not in is going to check. This is also going to return as in. Both of these operators will return as a boolean, that is true or false, but in is going to check on the substring of the string as well, but equal to will it will not check if Sridhar is present within a line called as I am Sridhar. It will convert Sridhar and I am Sridhar. If both are not same, then it will give false, but in will check if Sridhar is present inside I am Sridhar or not. That is the difference between these two things. And escape sequence backslash is used, as we discussed, it is used to escape a single quotes or double quotes printed within that string. And percentage and these things are, we have already discussed. The format strings, this and f string. So that is the purpose of these three things, these two things. Yeah. So I'll go to the next topic. I have left with 30 minutes, and I have to cover few other things. So I'll quickly go through some of the built-in functions that we can use along with strings. So one we already saw is split. Apart from that, we have these many methods as well.
Mr. Vikram, Mr. Vikram.
Yeah.
Mr. Vikram, am I audible now?
Yeah, I'm audible. Yes.
Yeah. You don't worry. You go as it is. Your the same wavelength. If you're not able to cover some topic, no big deal. Okay. So because now the participants are beginners, they want to understand the concept, whatever we teach, that is more than enough. Because in 2 hours, we are not able to cover all the topics. No, you don't worry. You go with slow and explain in detail whatever the topic you covered. That is more than enough.
Okay, fine. Do we have to cover this thing again? Was I too fast or it was okay? String operators.
Maybe you give 5 minutes time, ask the participant to ask for doubts. So then you will get some idea. Based on that, you can manage. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
It was okay, sir. We understood what you said. We couldn't copy everything, in the sense we couldn't do it ourselves. But when you send this sheet, if you can just add your comments later on before sending, it will help us when we are scrolling through it later. But we understood what you went through right now.
Yeah, sure. That's nice. Yeah. So this is shareable afterwards. I can do that. Okay. So here I have, though there are a lot of inbuilt functions that can be used along with the strings. For the session purpose, I have covered a few of the functions that will be useful in day-to-day life. So yeah. So the first one is character of this 97. So I'll explain. Run this and explain. Yeah. So you guys might have heard about this ASCII conversions, right? So this character method is converting this 97 to its equivalent string value. Similarly, this ordinary method, ORD method, function is converting its respective value in the ASCII standards. So that is A97 has as an output A, and this A has an output 97. So both are interchanging. So that is the usage of CHR and ORD. And this method called as len, len is going to give the length of the string, which means string is made up of characters, right? So it is going to tell us how many number of characters are present. So hello space hi. So I'll count it here. Hello is 4, 5. Space is also considered as a string. 6, 7, 8. So read it and see what you output. Yeah. So len is giving us the total number of character present in this input. So this len is useful when we are doing some operations based on the length of the string. So as we saw, right, a sorry. So I'm going to index this a of I'm going to start from 0, but I want to end 3 characters before the end. So that time I will say length of a minus 3. So it has skipped this last 3 because the start position is 0 and the end position is length of a minus 3. If you have given length of a also, it would have printed the same output, that is hi, how are you. But since I have reduced 3 positions from length of a, it has skipped the last 3. This 3 alone, and it has printed until this space. So these are all some of the places where you will use length. And the next one where we can iterating this string for loop, then we can say in the range of length of a. I'll simply print uh, value I and I equal to I plus 1. I will initialize I equal to 0 here. Sorry. And we'll also print the value itself directly. See, so this what I'm doing inside this loop is I have initialized this value I equal to 0, and I'm trying to increment this value by 1 every time when the loop is getting executed. So if you see this, the total length of A is 13 actually. This original string, it has the value 13. The length of this original string is 13. So when we give range of length of a, then it denotes that it is range of 13. So which means the loop is going to get executed for 13 number of times. So and the output of this range of length of a itself is the index position only. So see, I'm printing print of value. So the one, this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the output of the index itself. So when we, instead of using range, if we directly give a, then it will print us the value present in the index itself, which is hi, how are you, everything. But if you use range of length of a, then it will print the value of index. So these are all some of the places where you will use length. If you want to cut down some portion of this loop, or if you want to iterate through this entire length of the string, then we'll use range of length of a. So these are all some practical examples. So I'll move to the next one. For a of so as I said, this is another program. I've made some minor changes. So I'm iterating through the string based on the length of the string. So I am printing the index position. Next, I am subscripting this value using the string original string a. So a of 0 will have the first position. A of 1 will have the, sorry, A of 0 will have the first character, A of 1 will have the second character, and so on. So here I'm getting the actual value value of the character present in the index, 0 h, and 1 has high and 2 has space, so like this here. So this is how length is used inside for loop. And if you want to do any manipulation, we can do it inside this code block. And all these things are already understandable. So lower will convert all the characters to lower case and capitalize. Um, yeah. So there is another thing called as camel casing. So this capitalize is going to convert this input string to camel casing format. Camel camel casing. Not sure if the spelling of camel casing is right. So it is not going to do upper of entire string. Instead, it is going to just convert this first character alone to capital. So similar to lower, we will have upper built-in method also. We'll use the same thing. Yeah, see, the entire string is converted. S was already in uppercase, but it is not altered, but other characters are converted into uppercase. And one more thing I should have told already before executing this cell. So here this same thing could have also been used like this. Str equal to this is a string. String. And the next line I am doing str dot lower. See, both are same. In this example, I have directly given this input, hard input, this as an input. But in this cell, I have created this thing and stored it in a variable, and then I'm passing this variable as an input to this built-in function. So both are same. So you can interchangeably use. For demo purpose, in all the examples, I have just directly used this thing. And this one will give us the index. So index built-in method will give us the index of data. So in all these built-in methods, we had only one input, but here we have two input. So this is the source or the actual string, and this is the input that has to be searched in this given input. So it has given, it has told us that data is present at 8th position in this given string. So this index can be used in our code block whenever you want to find a index of a particular word. Let's say if you are finding if if some particular character is repeated for multiple times or not. In that situation, then you can use this index built-in function and supply this that one single character alone here, and then iterate through this one and see if this has multiple index values or not. So in this cases, you can use this index built-in function. So this will be in real time. This will be used while removing the duplicates in the given string. So that is the purpose where I can think of that this index can use. And this is going to return this is the next function ends with. So it is going to check if this given input is ending with this given input or not. So see, this is the Boolean output. It is saying, so this index will give us integer output. This ends with will give us the Boolean output, and this checks session is present in this given input main string or not. And this replace is also understandable. I'm replacing academy by academy class. So in this given input, this is the data info academy, and I'm replacing it as data info academy class. This last thing is replaced by these two strings, academy class. I cannot add any more new, and I cannot add extra parameter. If I add extra parameter, it will throw us the error, because this replace can have only two parameters as input. One is the string to be replaced and the string to be replaced and the replacement string. Apart from that, it cannot accept any more parameters. Similarly, for other methods, it cannot accept another parameter. Of course, you can add something here after case, but you cannot give comma and then add another parameter to this int with method. So as I said, this can be placed in a variable, and this can be placed in a variable, and this can be placed in a variable, and then just simply give the variables names alone instead of directly hard coding it in the method. So for easy understanding, I have directly used, but in real time, this string will be present in one variable only, and these things also might be present in variable. Since the string will, this entire big string will be of size, in real time it will be replaced in as a variable small 6. So this can be directly hard coded. Yeah. So, and this is the next another Microsoft Forms I've created. This consists of some 3 to 4 questions, easy questions, and interesting questions that you can solve later once it is shared to you. And the next topic is list. So this list is widely used in Python. Apart from strings, list is a data type in Python. Compared to another other languages, let's say in Java or other language, this list is similar to arrays in other language. Let's say if you are creating an integer array or character array in other languages, it will have only that data type in that list or array. If we are creating integer array and if we are trying to store a string in that, it will not allow. But Python, since it is an easy go language, it can this list or array can accept any kind of data type itself. So let me run the first cell and see. See, this A is a list, because the list should be enclosed within square brackets, and the subsequent elements inside the list will be separated by commas. So I am saying the variable A is a list, and it has 5 elements: 5, 6, 7, 7, 8. So the list is not going to remove the duplicates for us. It will simply contain whatever input we supply to this list. And similarly, see, this consists of only numbers. Python accepted it, okay. And this B variable consists of numbers, string, and another list itself within that. So this is the second level list. So if you see, this is a list output, and the first one is a character, a string or a character. The second element is an integer, and the third element is a list of strings. So, so, so which means the list in Python are dynamically sized. In other language we have to define the maximum length of array, but in Python we don't have to declare it separately. You can directly use it, and it is dynamically sized. Even if you want to remove it, you can remove. If you want to append it, you can append. It will not throw any exceptions. It will not throw any errors. So it is dynamically sized, and list need not be homogeneous. As we saw in this example, it is it's a composition of one string, one integer, and a list of strings. It isn't. It need not be it need not be homogeneous. So if you consider this example, I can say this. I can give a meaning to this array. So first is my name, and second is my employee ID. The third is my degree that completed. So it has a meaning. Whereas if it is present in 3 different lists, we have to iterate through 3 different lists. One is the list for the name of the candidate, the second list for the ID of the candidate, and the third list is for the graduation details of the candidate. But whereas in Python, you can maintain all these things in one single list itself. It has a meaning. Yeah. And in list, you can use any data type. So the single list may contain data types like integer, strings, as well as other objects itself. Let's say if you are creating a custom object, uh, let's say if you are creating a class A, and it has many variables declared declared, then can also go as part of this list. So it can also have a custom object or built-in objects as well. So that makes a list in Python very more powerful. Yeah. So I've already printed it. Okay. And this example. Yeah. I'll run this and explain. Yeah. So enumerate is one of the function to iterate through a given list. So enumerate is mostly used only with list. So if I'll run this and I'll explain. So here I am, since list as we saw, list will have many elements. So I'm iterating through each element of this list A, so which has a value 5, 6, 7, 7, and 8. So I'm iterating through each value and storing it in the variable B, and I'm printing it inside the loop as print V. So 5, 6, 7, 7, 8. So this is one method to iterate through the list and print it. And enumerate is more powerful than this regular for loop. So the difference is we just have to enclose this A within the function called as enumerate. So this enumerate will give us the output. We will give us two output in the form. So this A has just given the output of the value of each element present in this list A, but enumerate will give us two output when it is used in for loop. One is the index position, and the next one is the value that we saw in the previous example. So if you see, the first value is index. So as we discussed already during strings, all the indexes start from 0 in Python. So the first index is 0, and sequentially it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So to be more different, index. See the index. I will also print the next year. It will be easy for us to understand. See, first iteration, the index value is 0, and the index is 0 and value is 5 in 5, 6, 6, 7 list, and we have printed next. So now it goes to the next loop, the next value. So next value's index is 1 because index will be sequential only, 0 to 6. So this is how we use enumerate to enumerate over the list. So if in case we don't have, if we don't want to have the position of, I mean the index position of a list, we can simply use for a variable in the list. If you want to have the index also, then we have to iterate it using enumerate. And the another method to iterate through loop is this one, for I in range of A. So first let me print the value of I alone. Print I. Okay, sorry. The error is, so the A is a list. Previously I was having this range of A. A is a list, but usually range is used along with the integers only. But though it is an integer, it is a list of integers. So Python interpreter cannot apply range on top of that. So I have used length of A. Similarly, how we have length of strings, we can also apply length of list also. I hope this will work. Okay. So I'm iterating through the length of the total list and storing it in this variable I, and I'm printing it inside the for loop. So this is nothing but the value of the indexes. So now we value present in the respective position. I have to refer to the original variable. The original variable is A. Okay, A of original list is A of the index value. See, so in at 0th index value is 5. First index value is 6. Similarly, it has in 4th index the value is 8. So instead of doing all these things, we can directly use enumerate, because enumerate is going to give us the value as well as the index position. So enumerate is nothing but the combination of this and this. So in some places we might not have to use this index position at all. So that during those situations, you don't have to use this enumerate method or this range of method. Directly iterate through the list and do whatever operations you want. Let's say here I'm just iterating through each element of the list. I'm just creating a square and just printing it with the output. So these operations doesn't have to deal with the index position. So I'm not going to use enumerate or range, because it is going to occupy unnecessary memory and execution time. Yeah. The next topic is indexing. Let me see how much I left with. Okay, nothing much. List indexing is very similar to string indexing. There is no difference. So I'm going to just execute it and let you guys understand. So this is the list. This is a big list, and I'm printing it from reverse. So this the format is again going to be same. If you have one single colon, the first integer is start position and the last integer is end position. If you have two semicolon, then it starts, and if it is from if it has negative symbol, then it starts from reverse. So see, it has starting from 32, it has printed up till 5 here in the output. And similarly, I am applying the indexing on the same list. I am starting from the first index, which means 0, 1, and I am trying to end till third index. So the output is 6 and 7, because 5, this is 1, 0, and this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am just printing the first value in first position and third position. And in this output, I am telling the interpreter to print all the values starting from second position. So what is the second position? 0, 1, and 2. Starting from 7, it has printed till the end. And here I am telling, understanding. Here I am telling the interpreter to print from the beginning till the 6th position. I mean the value present before 6th position. So beginning it is 5 and it has printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And here I am telling the interpreter to print from reverse, skipping all the odd positions. That is what has happened. And here I am telling the interpreter to begin from first position and then skip all the in between elements. So I am telling it, let's see, 1 second. See, so the first index is at 6, and I did not use one colon. Instead of that, I have used 2 colons, which means this has a special meaning, as I already said. Starting from the first index, it is going to skip the next element and then going to print the next element, which means it is going to start from 6 and ignore the next element. Instead of that, it is going to print the next element after ignoring the next element. So 10. After that, it is going to skip 8. It has printed 5 here. And after 5, it is going to ignore 3 and print 2. So this is the usage of double colon. Two questions after beginning. So it has printed 6 and it has skipped 7 and 8 and it has printed the third one and it has skipped 5 and it has printed the third one. So this is the usage of double colon. And we'll execute this and see what happens. See, as I already said, if we do not supply anything in the beginning, then it is by default equal to 0. So without specifying 0, both are one and the same. That's why we have got true here. And another thing I want to demonstrate that I missed. We saw that strings are immutable, which means we cannot update the values of uh, the string. Let's see if we are able to update the values of list directly by using equal to operator. I'm saying a of 0. A of 0 is 5 right now. So a of 0 equal to 1. Let's see what happens if it is accepted or not. Yeah, it is accepted, which means we are able to mute, I mean the lists are mutable. We saw right in the beginning, strings are not mutable. Yeah, so we were not able to change some portion of string. So if you have to change some value, then we have to change the entire value only of the string. We cannot change some portion of string, which means strings are immutable, whereas lists are immutable. I mean lists are mutable. So this is one difference between strings and list. We were able to mute, I mean alter the first value. Value present in the 0th index. Instead of 5, it has replaced it to 1, 2, 3. So this is the value of original string. I will run it again, put it here and run again. So this 5 is altered to 1, 2, 3 here. Similarly, if you want to give same value for three, first three elements, then you will give like this. And you can understand this better. Sorry, if you give the cell, you can understand it better. I mean, can only assign a high treble. Okay. 3, 1, 2, 3. See 0. This will slices 0, 1, 2, 3. I will also print what is the output of statement 0, 4. See, this is the given string, and we have sliced first 4 positions alone, which means 0, 1, 2, 3. We have selected the elements present in 0, 1, and 2, and 3. So, and now we are trying to replace this with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in all the places. So, it has replaced the first 4 elements into 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the remaining is left unchanged. So, see here, I have printed A simply to be more. See, in the statement I have just altered the first 4 elements, but I did not do anything to the remaining elements. So the remaining elements were not unaltered when we print the actual list in the output finally. So yeah, lists are mutable. And the remaining topics I have my bucket list, splitting, updating the list value, Python list operations. So yeah, we left with three more topics. I'll cover it in my pace. So let me understand what I'm doing. So here I'm trying to split the list based on some condition. So we'll see what is the output. Sorry, my kernel is not connected due to some internet connectivity issue. So let me explain the code what it is doing. So I have initialized this variable list with in general scenario, since the list is also a keyword in Python, we can in general scenario we should not use the list directly. We should not use list as a variable name because list is a keyword in Python. We see list. Okay. One second. See here, uh, I've done some operations using a built-in function called as map on top of the list called as LST list. So this is just some user-defined name. And if you see here, this is a keyword. This is not the variable's name. This is a built-in keyword comes along with the Python interpreter, right? So if I had used used list as a variable name, then Python would have got confused with this variable name and the actual built-in reserved keyword. But though if we do not have confusion between the built-in variable name and the variable name that we already give, Python will not throw error. But in this scenario, if I had used list here instead of lst, Python would have got confused between the reserved keyword list and the user-defined variable name. So in general, for the user for better understanding, but in general, we should not use we should not give list as a variable name itself directly because list is a reserved keyword for Python. If there is no confusion, it will not throw any error as in this case. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I've created a list and I'm taken what is the length of the list using length keyword, and I'm just dividing the length by 2. If there is any remainder, this double slash will ignore the remainder. It will just have the quotient itself, quotient only. So now I'm just splitting the list as we already saw, right, in indexing or slicing of list. This first start position is left blank, which means it starts from 0 and it has to go into split until this middle index. So I am trying to divide the list into 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I am going to split 0 to 2 and I am trying to print the remaining elements from 2. So in this case, it will print 0 or 1. It will not print 2 because we already discussed, right, during strings. If you have to print the second position, then give it to 3, 0 to 3. 0 colon 3 means it will print 0, 1, 2. If it is 0 colon 2, it will just print 0, comma 1. It will not print the element in second position. And here, uh, 2 colon, which means 2 colon means this 2 comma 3. So total is 0, 1, 2 only. 0 comma 1 comma 2 comma 3. This is the total index that we present because we have only that is present because we have only 4 elements in our list. So 0 colon 2 is 0 and 1. 0 colon 0 2 colon is 2 comma 3. So totally we have covered all the elements 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's so it, and finally we have printed the first half variable and second half variable. So it has printed nicely. So this is how we split. If you want to implement some other tedious complex logic, we can do this instead of this middle index. and we can split based on the value presented in middle index. So the usage for splitting a list is, let me tell you. So if you see in machine learning or data science problem, right, you will have set of data. Let's say if you have 100 records for our model to get trained based on a machine learning model or data science model. First, the regular practice is to give only 80% of the data to the machine learning model so that it gets trained on the 80% data, and the remaining 20% data is used to test the model, which means if you have 100 number of records, you will utilize 80 number of records for training and 20 number of records for the validation or testing the model. If we have 500 records, 80% used for 20%, 80%, 10% is 50, 100. So 100 number of records will be used for validation purpose, and for 400 number of records will be used for training purpose. So during that time, if you have a list of data, then you have to split it into 80% into 20%. 80% is to 20%. So during those scenarios, you will use these concepts. So you will have to arrive at this 80-20% concept and assign it to middle index variable, and then split the variable based on these kind of operations, slicing, dicing operation, or indexing operation of the list. So this is one of the real-time use of splitting the list. So the next topic is updating the values of the list. So one way is directly updating the values like this. Just index a given list and assign some value like this. Directly apply, altering the values of list, or directly take some one value, one element, update it. 0 equal to 23. So this is how it is generally updated. If you don't have to use any built-in method, but there are some built-in method given for the ease of operation. Insert, pop, and remove. As the name says, the first three things, append, extend, insert, all those belongs to adding. All those are used to add an element in the given list. The last two, pop and remove, are used to remove a particular element from the given list. So let me demo all of these functionalities separately. The first one is append. See, this is my input variable list. So this is all of integers, and I've created another variable called as add. This is a homogeneous, non-homogeneous or heterogeneous list that consists of few numbers and one string. So now I'm trying to add this list add to the actual list, list. So for that I'm doing list dot append. So whichever list where I have to append is given in the first position list, and which list I want to append is given inside this braces. So now if I print list, the actual list is printed, and by default the second list is added in the end of the original list. So original list is up to 21, and the list that's going to get appended is appended in the end of the original list. Now the original list is appended with the list add also. So this is something you have to note clearly. So these are all the direct elements of this list, and the appended list is appended as a list itself. It is not like individual element, it is a list appended within a list. So if you want to have this as a direct element of the primary list, you have to use the function called as extend. This is append and this is extend, right? Let's see the output, you can understand. See, so this is a list appended to this original list. Here also the same list is appended, the same input, but instead of append I have used extend. So extend keyword will convert this list into individual elements and add to the existing or primary list. So this is the added elements, but it did not look like this. This is a list appended within list. This is the direct element. That is where this extend is useful. So append, extend, both of them has their own use cases or the play scenarios where it has to be used. It cannot be directly used. Based on the situation, you have to use the append or extend. Yeah. So what is this? Yeah, I have again appended both, but whereas both append and extend will have this one thing as in common, which means whatever we are going to append or extend, it will be extended in the end only. This primary list will hold the first position, and the secondary list we are going to append or extend will have the end position. So 1 to 4 is appended in the end only. Yeah, we see what is insert. The main difference between extend, append against insert is in insert you can supply where you want to insert, in which index you want to insert this given string or given element. So see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is my list, and I am trying to insert this hello in the first index as a first index. I will give 1 here. Let's see what is the output. So this hello is appended as in the first index. So this kind of thing you cannot achieve in extend or append, because it is by default will be added only in the end of the given list, not somewhere between or in the beginning of the list. So yeah, but if you are working on a use case where the order of the element is not a concern, then you can use append or extend, because it is going to get in the end only. But since there is no impact due to the order of the elements in the list, we don't have to bother. So we don't have to go for insert, because insert will take much more time, right? Because there is two concept in any software engineering. Give me a moment, sorry. There is two concept for the performance of any software engineering project, for any language, be it Java, Python, or anything. So those two things are called as, one is time complexity, another one is space complexity. Time complexity is, let's say if you are using some loop, time complexity is something how many times you have to iterate through a loop to complete the given operation. So let's say if you are using extend or append, we don't have to iterate through this list from 0 position to, let's say this list has a length of 10. We don't have to append it or extend it. We don't have to start from the beginning 0 and traverse till the ninth position, ninth index, which means the 10th element. Instead, we can directly go to the last position, 10th position, and append the given list. So in this, if you use extend or append, the time complexity is just 1, because 1 or whichever is minimum, because we are directly going to the end of the list. We are not iterating from the beginning to the end. Default is going to get appended. It will be appended in the end only. So the time complexity is very minimum. Though there is no impact on space complexity for extend, append, and insert, there is significant difference in time complexity. Time complexity is, as I said, how many times you iterate to complete a given operation. So in extend, append, you directly go to the end. But whereas in the insert, let's say if this let's say I'm going to insert something on the 4th position, so I have to iterate to the 4th position, right? So it has 4 as time complexity, or time complexity greater than the time complexity for append and extend. So this is what I think. This one I have not verified in the internet, but this is what I feel. The time complexity is more for insert than extend or append. So I have to confirm it in some of the blog to validate this statement, or yeah. So but in general, this is what I feel, because anyways, if you have to achieve this operation, we have to iterate through 0 to 4th position. Let's say if you are inserting in fourth index, and then insert this value. So yeah, so the time complexity is automatically less. So if we don't have to bother about the order, just go for append or extend. Don't go for insert. And the next two are for removing some items or elements from the list. I'll execute both of these things. Yeah, so this is the given list. Next one is I am popping. Popping means removing. So see, I am popping this denotes, this does not represent the value itself, it represents the index. So pop, I'm supplying the index 2, which means I'm telling to pop out second index. So see, I printed list dot pop of 2. The second index has 3. So this statement has given the output as 3. It has not given the output of the list after popping, but it has given the output of the element present in the second index. And then I have printed the list again, and see here, this list doesn't have the value 3. The 3 is deleted, popped out, and it has printed the remaining values. So similarly in this third line, in the fourth line, I have popped the element present in the last position, which means 24. So this 24 is going to be removed. So list.pop is going to return the element that has popped out, but it did not return the list itself. So for printing the list, we have to print the list only. Whereas if you see these operations, right, uh, uh, upper capitalize all those built-in functions, these functions return the value itself, but this pop is going to return the value that has been popped out, not the actual value itself. So to see the actual value, you have to explicitly print. And for remove, sorry. So list popping is similar to remove and pop are both are one and the same. So it has removed the third position from the given list. Let's see what is returned by remove by printing this. Yeah, see, remove has not returned anything. Let me write dummy function def. Let's say it accepts something. Write for pop. Let's write for remove. Let's say I'm writing customizing this built-in method. So if you see, pop would have would have returned something, return some value, but but in return method in actual Python, if we see, either it will be returned, it would have returned none, or simply return like this, return like this, or return at all. So if you see, if you print list.pop of 2, it is printing as 3, the value, which means here in the actual built-in method, if you go and inspect that method and see, in the final line, they would have returned some value. That's why 3 is printed here when we do list.pop of 2. But whereas if you print list.remove of 3, it has printed none, which means they would have explicitly returned none, or simply they would have just kept a return. This is also similar to return none, or they would have not done anything at all. It would have been something like this. Remove to the operation. That's all. The operations alone would have been done. They would have not mentioned anything related to return at all. In that case only we'll have, if you print that, it will print none. So it has printed none, and it has also removed. If you printed the original list, it would have got removed. Let me check if it removes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is the difference between pop and remove. And these are all some of the Python list operations. So I think we have come to the end of my session. So I am going to talk about looping the list, comprehensive list, index, any operator, enumerate, and map. These are all some of the very popular operations that we do using list. So I think some of them has been already covered. Let me reiterate those things again. Looping the list. For looping the list, we have to use for loop, or as covered in the previous session, we can also use a while loop and have a break. So if we have to use while loop, hey, sorry guys, again, my internet is glitching me today so many times. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, yes, you are audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So for iterating through a list, we're using while loop. While the list up through itself. Uh, L equal to 0. We already initialize. Print L, comma, print list
So,
of.
Vikram, maybe we can stop from here. Maybe we can give couple of minutes to participant to ask any query. Okay.
Okay, I'll take only 2 minutes to complete the remaining topic. If that is fine, I can
Okay.
do that.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So list of L. So to iterate through list, this is how we have to either directly iterate, put it in the for loop, or I'm directly supplying the condition true equal to length of the list. I will do a break. This is a while loop to traverse through a list completely along with this line L equal to 0. And this is for loop example. And also we have comprehensive list. This is called as one-liner statements. So this entire line is completed using this entire line of statements is achieved using this one-liner. So this is predominantly used by people who are much into Python background. So in their actual real-time projects, they use this one-liner only. It is very easy to use and update. So this is simply something like that. For I in list, I'm doing, I'm doubling the each elements of the list. If I have to do like this for I in list, I have to write some statements. Again, it'll take 3 lines. But instead of that, I've completed it in 2 lines because of this method of iterating list. This is called as comprehensive list. So this will again put these things in list only. If we change this enclosing values, that output type might change. See, so instead of using square brackets, when I uses the normal braces, it has changed the output type. If we do next of this output, then it will print the actual output. and we can find what is the sum of the list in this fashion, sum of the list. So it will sum all the elements, and if you want to find index of a particular oh, list is updated. Okay, list. Want to find what is the index of 4, then it will, this function will return. See, the 4 is present in the second position maybe, so that's why it has returned. And yeah, this is some normal program to iterate through the list and have some if conditions and append if it is true, else append it is false. So this is to find whether the given list is I mean whether the elements in the given list is odd or even. So I am trying to if it is even, I am trying to append true. If it is odd, I am trying to append false, and finally printing this this as an output. So this, wherever it is true, it is even; wherever it is false, it is false. And if you use this any operator, right, it means in the given list of Boolean list, if any one of the condition is true, it will return true. So we have lot of true, so it is returning true, and enumerate is already covered. And this one cell is very important. This consists of an example to use map function. Map is predominantly used in most of the projects. It has a lot of usage in actual projects. So let me explain how to use map. This is the last one. So the syntax is map, and then the first value is a method name, and the second value is iterator. Iterator nothing here is nothing but a list. Map can be used with any iterator, but here we are taking an example of list. So list is given as an input to this method. So if you use map, what it will do is we don't have to separately write a for loop and iterate through this list. Map will itself iterate through all the elements of the list. Let's say in first iteration it will supply 1 to this method. So this method can take only one value, one parameter as an input, because map is nothing but for loop iteration. So it will supply 1 here, and it will return 1 into 2, 1 squared 2, and it will, and next iteration it will return, I mean send 2 to this method, and it will return 2 squared 2. So instead of writing multi-line for loops and do this operation, map will do it in single line, and map will be faster than this the for loop case also, if the length of the list is very small. So that is the main usage of map. Sorry, for some purpose it is not working. Okay, it was working. Not sure. After debug, list is not callable. List is not callable. Numbers. Okay, sorry. I will clear the runtime. This is because, right, I've been using list itself as a direct variable name. So now the Python interpreter is confusing between this list and the list keyword that I've used here. So if I clear my runtime, restart runtime, it should work now. Because now if we clear the runtime, the list variable that I created previously would have got deleted. Now I'm trying to run. I hope, yeah, it has run. See, this list is a keyword, but whereas previously I was using list as a variable name, that should not be used in. So just to demonstrate this discrepancy, I used list directly there. So here, see, it has multiplied, I mean powered, squared all the elements, and it has given as an output. So if you directly, one thing to notice, if you directly print this output, it will be printed as a map object. It will not print the actual output. So to see the output of this map object, you have to use this reserved keyword list of the variable, then it will print. So similarly, this is also to square it, the same thing. I mean 2 into n. This is n into n. Yeah, so I have created some few 10 simple exercises for you guys to solve. So I'll share it once this is reached. You can share. I mean, start solving these. If there is any queries, you can send the queries to data info. I mean, the data info academy at gmail.com. So it will be redirected to me. I will be happy to solve your queries. If there's any questions, you guys can ask. Guys,
Okay.
is there any?
If no question, then I will give one information to all participants. So our regular batch for Python programming for beginners will start next week, Monday onwards, for 21st of February. So those who are interested to join this 30 hours course, please enroll immediately. Now registration is going on. So now the Data Info Academy give offer 70% offer. Those who are registered before 14th, that is tomorrow. If you register, you pay 500 rupees and register. That amount it will be adjusted with your fee. So then you will get 70% off. Okay, you inform our friends also. Those who are willing, you can start to register before 14th, and you will get 70% off. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
So, what will be the charges if we register now, for example? What will be the charges for the course?
yeah, 1,500, 1,500.
We have to pay 1,500 and we'll be registered for the 30-hour course, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Meanwhile, I want to ask one more thing. Is there, it's not related to the course itself. Is there any means by which we can join Data Info Academy as instructor?
Yeah, that we will discuss later.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
You text
Sure.
me that number.
Sure.
So the managing director, they will interact with you.
Sure. Thank you.
So now handed over to Data Info Academy, the managing director.